Hello, it's Adam at Berwick Guitars, and we're here under the house. So I'm here with you for the Cigar Box Guitar Builder. And what am I doing at the moment? Let me show you. I am building a cigar box guitar neck. Okay, so I'm using a piece of pallet timber, pine, for the neck. Pine! I know. I love using this stuff, it's good fun. And we've got a beautiful old piece of oak for the fretboard. And what I wanted to show you today was, obviously I'm using frets, normal frets, not stainless steel or anything crazy like that, but I wanted to show you the tools that I've been using to actually do the work on this. Okay, so the first things first obviously is just sandpaper, little block, normal sandpaper. That's pretty much it. Just to tidy things up, clean things up. Take this down to about 320 on the fretboard. Give it a clean. Fret saws, different things that you can use. Let me show you what doesn't work, and I know this the hard way. Okay, Japanese pull saws. This is a Hosco, too thin. All right, way too thin. The tangs are actually thicker on the frets, okay, than the saw is. So what'll happen is you're going to be cutting very shallow fret channels. Okay, so don't use that. My suggestion. This is the brand, this is the type of one. If you see these, stay away from them. They're excellent for cutting out the boxes, cutting out notches, things like that. Definitely fantastic for other applications. They will slice through timber like butter. They're really good. This one's getting a bit blunt now, so it's not as good as it was. Okay, do not use that. Way too thick. I learnt this the hard way, guys, all right? When I started out, do not use that. Still way too thick. The frets just won't stay in. Do not use this, okay? Do not use one of these. Again, way too thick. It doesn't work, okay? What I have found that does work very well, this is an old one. I don't use it anymore because, quite frankly, it's just gotten very blunt. Okay, if you can find these, you can get these on eBay. You can buy them at any of your Crimson Guitars do a set in the UK. They're not stupidly expensive, to be honest with you. They're actually quite okay. This one is as blunt as hell, so I really don't use this anymore. I'm going to try and see if I can get it sharpened somewhere. But if this cost me $60 Australian, so if it cost me $50 to get it sharpened, I might as well buy a new one. Yeah, I probably would end up just getting a new one. But I keep it because it's kind of sentimental. I've done like hundreds of guitars with this. All right, so what I did end up doing was I went to Real Tone, or Real Parts, which is based here in Australia, up in Maroochydore in Queensland, and I bought one of these. All right, and this is brilliant. Now this again is a Hosco, okay, but it's specifically a fret saw. Okay, this is a smaller one. You can actually get them a little bit bigger. I think I'll buy the bigger one next time as well. But this is brilliant. This cuts through ebony, cuts through rosewood, cuts through oak, cuts through maple, and it's really good. So that is a fantastic one. Okay, so you do kind of need a proper fret saw to get this done, but that's kind of where everything ends as far as the special tools. I've got my special luthiery tools for when I'm building 6-string guitars, but when I build cigar box guitars, I kind of like to do it a bit more rustic. I kind of like to do it with kind of whatever I can get my hands on. Okay, it's just one of those things. So tools that I use a punch, obviously, for punching out where the frets are going to be. I have a template, which is a measured template drawn on the ruler, and I use this specifically to draw the fret positions. I only ever do my guitars at 25.5-inch scale length, which is 600 or 25 points, blah blah blah, but it works out at 650 millimeters even. Okay, next thing. I don't use a proper, I just use a normal pair of clippers to clip the frets off. one of these. I have two. I have one to work out where to put the fret markings, which I use for that, which is about 12 mil. And this one, which is always like this, and it's a really nice brand. It's Empire. You will see it's here, and I will actually cut, because it's at 90 degrees, the frets. There's cigar box guitars, as you know. Well, sorry guys, nearly lost you. Cigar box guitars, as you know, they generally don't have a tapered board. It goes thick, thicker at the body end and thinner at the top. That's just straight all the way through. So I use one of those, but it's a good, proper 90 degree. It actually is really, really good. This one, not so great, not so accurate. So I use this one specifically just to put the markings in the neck where I'm going to be drilling in either screws, or we're putting in proper timber ones. Hammer, just a small hammer, just a small steel hammer, nothing special. Just hammer those frets in. Just get some fret, pop it down here, pop it in there, hammer it down. You can look at my roof while I do this. There I am again. Hello. I've got a holder which I had before, but it's really not great. One thing I do is I clamp this, and I'll show you in just 2 seconds. I clamp this down when I'm actually fretting, because it stops it. It does stop a little bit of the bang. Here we go. So I have it clamped at that end. And that means that when I'm hammering the fret in, cut it off. All right, that's how I do it. So next step is I take this over. Once it's all done, I take it over to the sanding station, the rotary sanding station, and the one that goes like that. Hang on. Just look at the disaster zone that is the shop at the moment. It's a bit crazy. What are these suckers? And what I basically do then is sit that on the top, and I'll straighten it this way. Put a little angle on it, 45 degrees, straighten it that way. Again, do the same thing there. Angle, do the same thing there. Okay, feel up the sides. Feels comfortable. There's no overhang. It's going to be sharp, so just do it gently and sensibly. But then what I'll do is I'll flip it, and I run it very softly over the top, like that. And what that'll do is that'll level the frets. Okay, it works. It really does. I use a very light gauge of sandpaper on this, so I'm not using like 80 grit or 60 grit. I'm actually using one of the lightest gauges that I can use, and that's when I'll hit it with sandpaper, and we'll do our crowning, we'll do our leveling. I do the edging, which I've shown you before. This is one of the tools that I do for the edging. Okay, this little sucker here. All right, so once that's all done, I sand down the edges. That's one of the edges there. So I've actually sanded that down so it's very smooth, so it doesn't chunk out the neck. All right, and this is how I like to build cigar box guitars. My electric guitars, I build a completely different mindset. It's all very frou-frou and very hoity-toity and all that sort of stuff. But when I build cigar box guitars, I don't know, it's kind of like I want to get back to nature. I kind of want to get back to just using whatever tools I have on hand. I know it's fake, because I can basically go out, and especially most of us can go out nowadays and buy a whole set of lutherie tools for ridiculously cheap prices. You can also spend an enormous amount of money on top quality stuff, but this is the kind of thing you can do. So with the Cigar Box Guitar Builder, it's just saying, look, get out there. If you don't have all of these tools, man, I do it with this, with a hammer. Probably the tools I've shown you, there's probably no more than $15 worth of tools there, so it's not rocket science. But one thing with your frets, make sure that you've gotten rid of all of those sharp ends. Okay, use your sandpaper on the side. When it comes off the machine, what I usually do is I'll have about 240 grit sandpaper, and I run it up the sides, and I run it up the sides like that. And then I use that little file, and I just take off all of those little pieces. All right, so see how you go. Any comments, chuck them in there. It's been Adam here for the Cigar Box Guitar Builder. Check us out at birdwoodguitars.com. We've got some fun news coming up in relation to some work I'm doing with Mark Wilmot at CBG Emporium. or MRWS if you're kind of an old fart like me and you kind of know him by that name. Go and check them out for parts and supplies, and talk to you soon. See ya.